Story 1. Back when I was just turning 13, my folks had finally decided I was mature enough to handle being by myself for a few hours. We resided in a serene suburb outside of Seattle, Washington, a place where kids rode bikes until dusk, neighbors waved from porches, and the local market buzzed with familiar faces. It was the kind of neighborhood where locking doors felt optional and worries about the outside world seemed distant, like echoes from a far-off city. My parents, still young and full of energy, loved their weekend escapes, hiking trips or dinners with old college buddies, leaving me to revel in the rare freedom of an empty house. That particular Friday, they headed out for a night at a cozy Italian spot downtown, promising to be back by midnight. They slipped me a crisp $20 bill for takeout, with strict instructions to order from our favorite spot, Marco's Pizza Shack, just a short drive away in the next town over. "Get whatever you want, kiddo," my dad said with a wink, ruffling my hair. "But save some for breakfast. Cold pizza's the best." I nodded eagerly, my mind already racing to the stack of video games waiting upstairs. As a kid, I was hooked on those spy thrillers, replaying missions in titles like Shadow Ops on my old Xbox. The house to myself? It was paradise. No bedtime, no chores, just me, the controller, and a greasy feast. After they left, I dove into the game, losing track of time as virtual agents dodged bullets and uncovered secrets. My stomach growled around 8, so I paused and dialed Marco's, ordering a large pepperoni with extra cheese, enough to stuff myself silly. While waiting, I swapped games to Covert Strike, another espionage epic that had me glued to the screen. The doorbell's chime snapped me back to reality. Grabbing the money, I bounded downstairs, heart light with anticipation. The delivery guy was a scruffy type in his late 30s, sporting a tangled mustache that looked like it hadn't seen a trim in months, thick-rimmed specs, and a faded baseball cap pulled low. He handed over the steaming box, and as I passed him the 20, asking for exact change, his gaze shifted past me into the dimly lit hallway. "All by yourself tonight, huh?" he muttered, his voice gravelly and intrusive. A chill crawled up my spine. My parents had drilled stranger danger into me since kindergarten. Why would he ask that? The driveway was empty, sure, but still. I stammered, "Nah, my aunt's upstairs." A lame lie that tumbled out in panic. He just nodded slowly, counting out the bills with deliberate slowness, his eyes flicking back to mine before he turned away. Shaking it off, I locked the door and carried the pizza to the dining room, the aroma of melted cheese banishing the unease. I devoured 4 slices, way more than planned, savoring the salty tang while replaying the encounter in my head. Was I overthinking? Probably. Wrapping the remnants in foil, I stashed them in the fridge and retreated upstairs, diving back into the game. Hours melted away. The digital world pulled me in, adrenaline from virtual chases masking the quiet of the house. Around midnight, the doorbell pierced the silence again. My pulse quickened. Parents must be home early. I dashed down, calling out, "Coming!" But through the peephole, no familiar figures waited. Instead, a muffled voice replied, "Hey kid, I need a hand out here." My blood turned to ice. "Who are you?" I shot back, voice cracking. "Just let me borrow your phone. Car broke down." Alarm bells screamed in my mind. Every horror story from TV flashed before me. I backed away, heart hammering like a drum in my chest, refusing to glance through the sidelight window for fear of what I'd see. As I crept up the stairs, visible from the entryway, a fist pounded the door. "Come on, open up, it's urgent." The words sent terror surging through me. He must have spotted my shadow, my retreat. Peering down from the landing, I caught a silhouette through the frosted glass panel at the top of the door. A hulking figure, head tilted, watching. Panic clawed at my throat. I sprinted to my parents' bedroom, the only spot with a landline. Fumbling the receiver, I dialed my mom's cell, breaths shallow and ragged. She answered with a laugh, music thumping in the background. But my whispered plea, "Mom, there's a guy at the door demanding to come in," shattered the merriment. Her voice sharpened instantly, sobriety cutting through like a knife. "What? Stay calm, honey. Did you talk to him?" I confessed everything, including the pizza guy's weird question, as the bell rang insistently again. Tears welled up. I felt exposed, vulnerable, the house's walls suddenly paper-thin. "Lock the door and hide," she commanded, her fear mirroring mine. I could hear her relaying details to Dad, who grabbed his phone to call 911. Summer warmth meant open windows for breeze, but now they felt like invitations. A soft creak echoed from the side yard, the latch on the fence gate swinging open stealthily. "Mom, I think he's in the backyard," I hissed, curling into a ball on the floor, lights off, shadows dancing menacingly. Her reassurances did little to quell the rising dread. Visions of shattered glass and intruding hands plagued me. Then the worst, faint scuffs downstairs like boots on hardwood. Someone was inside. My whisper to Mom unleashed her scream into the other line. "He's in the house! Get there now!" "Under the bed! Stay silent!" she urged. I slid beneath, dust tickling my nose, clutching the phone like a lifeline. The flimsy door lock was my only barrier. Footsteps ascended the stairs, deliberate and echoing in the stillness. My mind raced. Was it the delivery guy? Who else knew I was alone? The steps paused, perhaps rummaging in sibling rooms, then approached. The knob rattled, twisted futilely. A soft rap followed, silent and sinister. No words, just presence. I bit my lip to stifle sobs, every muscle taut. Finally, the intruder retreated, steps fading. Mom's update: "Police are pulling up. Don't move." Heavy boots stormed in moments later, voices calling my name, badges identifying. Relief flooded me as I unlocked the door to 4 officers. The back patio slider gaped open, screen torn, entry point clear. I recounted the night, suspicion spilling out, parents listening via speakerphone. They rushed home, enveloping me in hugs amid the chaos. Next day, we confronted Marcos. No match at first, but the manager identified Rick from my description. Denials flew. A heated argument ensued, vowing no more business. We staked out the lot, but Rick vanished, likely tipped off. Lawyers dismissed the case for lack of proof, leaving us wary. Months passed before solitude felt safe again. Deep down, I knew. That question at the door sealed my isolation, inviting the shadows in. Story 2. Picture this: a face pressed against your window in the dead of night, grinning with madness, a blade glinting in the moonlight. That's the horror that stalked me from the shadows of our isolated retreat, turning paradise into a prison of fear. As a teen, my family uprooted from bustling Oregon to a remote corner of Montana, where my newly retired parents constructed their ultimate haven amid endless pines and rugged hills. No neighbors for miles, just wilderness stretching to protected lands and old timber trails. The sprawling home boasted 3 levels: a fitness center, a lounge with billiards and a stocked bar, and a basement cinema that rivaled any theater. It was idyllic, serene, expansive, a fortress against the world. Or so we thought. I was seeing my girlfriend Emily from school. One evening, with parents out for a romantic dinner in the nearest town, I snuck her over for a cozy movie night. We settled in the theater, popping open sodas. I sneaked a beer, feeling rebellious, queuing up an epic like Spartan Warriors. Laughter filled the air initially, but midway through, an inexplicable dread gripped me. My skin prickled, instinct screaming danger. Heart racing, I scanned the bare windows framing the inky forest beyond, paranoia whispering we weren't alone. Trying to play it cool, didn't want to spook Emily. I focused on the screen, even as affection escalated. Yet the sensation persisted, eyes boring into us from the void. Movie over, I escorted her to her car, the house's silence oppressive. Waving goodbye, I headed back, realizing lights blazed below. Descending, I flicked off the theater switch, gaze drawn to the expansive pane overlooking the yard. There he stood, disheveled, ragged attire, mane of unkempt hair. But his face, oh God, that smile, stretched unnaturally wide, eyes bulging with feral glee. In his grip, a hunting knife tapped rhythmically on the glass, each clink echoing my terror. Frozen, disbelief warred with panic. Was this real? Backing away, I killed the bar lights, only to see him saunter to the sliding door, grin unwavering, separated by mere inches of barrier. He didn't advance, just observed, unyielding. Upstairs, parents arrived. I blurted, "I think I'm losing it. There's a knife-wielding creep out there." Mom blanched. Dad armed himself with a shotgun, scouring the grounds. "Recent burglaries," she confessed shakily, "matches the vagrant descriptions plaguing the area. Cops found nada, no tracks, no breach, just endless dark. Sleep evaded me that night, a persistent tap, tap, tap from below fueling nightmares. My room overlooked the theater. It sounded like Steel on Pain, relentless. Weeks dragged, the noise intermittent, sometimes joined by creaks overhead, as if someone paced the roof. Dread became constant companion, every shadow suspect. Winter blanketed the land. Parents traveled, leaving me a rifle and our loyal mastiff, Brutus, gentle giant, silent sentinel. A lone one stormy eve, crunching snow betrayed approach. Brutus growled, hackles raised, barking furiously at the entrance. A deliberate knock followed, mocking. I gripped the weapon, silent, praying invisibility. Dawn revealed encircling prints, boot marks halting at each window, peeping intent clear. Trailing them into woods, they meandered erratically, luring perhaps. Instinct halted me. Danger lurked. That night tapping resumed, bolder. Fury overrode fear. Rifle in hand, I stepped onto the balcony, floodlights piercing gloom. Him again, same lunatic leer, knife poised. "Get lost or I'll end this," I roared. Unfazed, he stared. A shot skyward startled him backward. Releasing Brutus, he charged snarling into the trees, vanishing the threat forever, or so I hoped. The woods reclaim their peace, but the grin haunts my dreams. Story 3. What if the darkness outside your window wasn't empty, but hid a figure with hollow eyes and a silent invitation to terror? That's the chilling reality that shattered our getaway, turning laughter into screams we can't forget. In spring 2023, midway through junior year at university, my crew, 7 strong, booked a rustic lodge in rural Georgia for a week of escape. No classes, no deadlines, just unplugging in nature. Us guys, me, Alex, Ben and Ryan. The ladies, Mia and Katie. Bonded since orientation, we craved adventure. The rental was a steal. 3 floors, expansive deck, multiple baths, on secluded acreage by a swampy pond. Remote as hell, no cell bars enveloped by thickets. The owner, with a drawling voice thick as molasses, warned over the call, "Stick close. Them woods got ruins, pits, critters. Easy to lose your way." We chuckled, dubbing it haunted hype. Arrival proved otherwise. Navigation died miles out, path narrowing to rutted mud. The lodge loomed weathered, paint peeling, eaves sagging, a musty odor clinging like decay. We shrugged, unpacked, and ignited the party. Beers flowing, tunes blasting, burgers sizzling on the grill. First evening buzzed with joy, but as dusk fell, the forest void pressed in. Absolute blackout. No chirps, no rustles, just suffocating quiet. Crashing late, I claimed a main floor nook by the pantry, window to the wilds. At 3:47 a.m., jolt awake, no cause but adrenaline surge. Then knock, knock, knock. Not mechanical, organic, like nails drumming. Peering out, a gaunt man loomed, nose to glass, sallow flesh, matted locks, bare-chested, gaze vacant yet piercing. Mouth agape, he rapped deliberately taunting. Paralysis gripped, breath caught, taps quickened. I croaked for Alex on the sofa. "Dude, look." He stirred, spotted, bolted up, chaos erupting. Porch floodlit, we charged out. Gone. Group roused, panic spread. "Prankster bum," Ryan rationalized. Ben muttered, "Lost hiker." But those eyes, deliberate. We barricaded, rotated watches, dawn footprints ring the structure, pausing at panes, even attic vents. Logic screamed apart, but youth's bravado held. Night 2, cautious revelry, fire crackling, knives handy, locked tight inside. Midnight passed, Ben fetched snacks, froze. "Guys!" In the galley stood the intruder, nude, scarred back swaying hypnotically before the cooler, oblivious. We armed crudely, poker, bat, shard. Lights on, vanished. Rear entrance ajar, unforced. How? Evacuated in frenzy, essentials grabbed, fleeing to signal. At a roadside cafe, sheriff's deputy nodded wearily. "Squatter issues in them hollers. Off-kilter types." We pressed. "Repeat visits? Entry?" He evaded. Owner Ty hinted. Listing vanished online. No refund, no closure. That stare lingers in sleepless nights. Georgia's off limits, bond strained by unspoken dread.